What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Scarpino. This is Tim Gettys, and that's Mr. Greg Miller. And today we're talking about Avengers: Age of Ultron.
I believe it's called Avengers 2.
Is it Avengers 2?
No,
it's not Avengers 2. Guys, you saw the movie about a week and a half ago, right?
We're cool. We're the coolest
cool.
bros
Pretty
in
cool.
Avengers journalism.
I went and saw it last night.
So you're high on it right now. You just left.
it's
You still have all the
fresh in my brain.
endorphins popping around.
I had a great night. We did Avengers: Age of Ultron, and then it was Thursday night with nothing to eat. There was nothing open, and we found a Burger King that was open.
Good.
And then we got kicked out of the Burger King.
Because you're closing?
You guys like this? Hey, we're
Well,
close.
it's because they were playing Avengers. Can you imagine Kevin and Nick just running around? One of them, both of them is Incredible Hulk.
Sure.
Guess which one of us is the Hulk?
Kevin.
Yep. No, it was fun. What was your first impression, guys?
Well, here, I want to, for me, I liked it. I enjoyed myself. I left. I wasn't blown away. And it goes back to, in the car ride to the screening, I told Tim, I don't know, man, I'm hearing mixed reviews about this review. And Tim said...
Oh.
Do you remember what
that
you
was
said?
my cue up? Yeah. I was just like, it's an Avengers.
You said the only bad thing I'm hearing is that it's just more Avengers, which I'm down for. And you were like, you made a great point I'd never thought of. Like, there's no way to recapture what that first film was. Because I think back to the first Avengers, and I remember the girl freaking out when Thanos came on, everybody losing their shit, clapping, laughing, a midnight screening, and then leaving and not being able to stop smiling because it was such a great comic book movie. But we've seen that now.
But see, for me, it starts even before then with Iron Man. When Iron Man ends and you get the post-credit scene where Samuel L. Jackson comes out and he's like, essentially teases, we're going to make an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that moment of being like, there's no way that we're ever actually going to get to that.
Yeah.
That is so far off in the
happen.
future.
They're going to lose financing.
Whatever
Someone's going to sell something, and then someone's
and
going to
then it happened. And that movie, it was so good. And the entire thing was just like getting the band together.
Right.
Where it's just like, you get each character's little introduction, and it all builds up till that big moment where they're all together. And it was awesome. Right. And then Avengers 2, it's like, what are they going to do with that? Okay, we know they're together. We don't need to do the whole, let's reunite everybody. Let's start it off. They're all together. Go. Let's have more of those moments. And that's all this movie was just more.
Which is great.
More was great. I don't think it ever hit the highs of the first one.
Yep.
But I think that it also never hit the lows of the first one. There were some things that I just didn't like about the first one.
What didn't you like about the first one?
I don't know. I felt like some of the, the characterization was just really weird, like with Hawkeye and stuff, of him not being Hawkeye for any of the movie.
Oh, right.
Just a bad guy.
Yeah, just stuff like that was just a little off. And like
I thought that was okay, though, because Hawkeye and Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow, are always kind of side characters anyway, because they're the ones that don't have superpowers, so they end up being the ones that they tell like the story through. I should preface the rest of this with we're going to try to stay away from spoilers, but spoilers,
are we?
We're going to do spoilers probably. I don't know. What do you guys want to do? Spoilers.
Spoilers.
No
It always is
spoiling
stupid
it.
to try
yeah,
to do.
we'll try best to be as vague as possible. But
No,
by the time you
won't.
get to the end of this, you're going to know the entire movie.
Loki is the villain in this again.
Loki is not the villain in this.
Is he? Now you don't know who to believe, do you?
Look at that. We had that same thing though in this right, where we sort of had the B and C and D plots going through. I think I liked it. I thought it was very, very entertaining. Tim, I think you put it perfectly when you said, if I may quote you, that it's the Iron Man 3 of Avengers movies.
And what I mean by that is that Iron Man 3 was good.
A lot of people don't agree with you.
About 3?
Yeah. The Mandarin and all that shit. I liked Iron Man 3. I'm just saying a lot of people had a huge chip on their shoulder about that.
I mean, if you're just going off the general populace of people and the opinions, I feel like it's generally said that Iron Man 1, great.
Yeah.
Iron Man 2, horrible.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3, good.
Nailed it.
And that's why I think that Avengers 2 is the Iron Man 3.
It's like a V.
Yeah.
A V.
It's just
Sure,
how it works.
yeah, if we're looking at a
but
chart.
it's like, it's good. There's nothing about this bad. Now, here's my problem with all of these movies, and this might just be the way that I watch these movies, is that now I don't go into it as a movie experience. I don't really just look at it. I'm not reviewing this movie just based on, is it a good movie? I'm more reviewing it on how does it fit in the world? How does it build the world? And what steps does it take to push it to the next level?
Right.
And it's weird how these movies are just trailers for the next movie. And that excites me. I like that. So when I feel like I'm not really getting a good tease at what's next, I kind of not really into it.
So were you excited when, at the end of the movie, here comes some spoilers, Captain America walks in and goes, Avengers, and you look around and it's just like, oh my god, here's a team of Avengers I don't give a fuck about.
I don't care.
And
How about a meteor hits right now and kills all these guys? I'm like, I don't know, big deal.
Like that, it was cool. I liked the end of the movie, but yeah, it's like, all right, great. And because we know the movie's coming out, we can kind of place everything and see where it's going to go. And like, I'm not too upset with that. Like, obviously, we'll get that team in 3, and three part 1. Huh?
Are you? I mean, I don't understand based on this one how we're getting to Civil War. That's my concern. Not my concern, like I'm worried about it. But I thought that this would end. I thought from the trailers and what we were seeing, we were going to build to ending. They beat Ultron, and Tony and Cap are like at each other's throats. Mm-hmm. Like Cap's like, you fucking did this. This is your fault. And he's like, no, it's not. I was doing the right thing. And that never happened. They have these like little, it's because he got lifted in an elevator. It's like blah blah blah. And then I'm done being Iron Man again. By the way,
I know.
Again, don't even explain how he's back from Iron Man 3 unless I missed something.
No, that is what the weirdest thing about this movie.
Right? I blew up all my suits. I'm done being Iron Man. Start the movie. I'm Iron Man. Everybody, I'm done being Iron Man.
It went Avengers, Iron Man 3, and then Avengers 2, right? So like. Or was it Iron Man 3 before Avengers?
Iron Man 3 was after Avengers.
After Avengers. So at some point he quit and then was like, no, you know what? We've turned Stark Tower into Avengers Tower, and I'm straight up going to be Iron Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not only that, but like spoilers, the movie starts just dead heat. They're chasing down Hydra. Like they're all Avengers. They've been on this track for like the last 3 months, just trying to trace down the last remnants of Hydra. So that storyline's kind of dead before it even started.
And that was
Hydra took over S.H.I.E.L.D., but now we're fine.
And that was the thing when Scarlet Witch fucks with Tony in the beginning and he sees all the Avengers dead. Right. I thought they were making, when it starts, I thought they were making another reference to like his, post-traumatic stress disorder in Iron Man 3 from after everything in Avengers. And then it's kind of just like, no, he's just...
Yeah, that was a little bit unclear as to what she was doing. Like, she was projecting like the fears, their worst fears. But then they were, I guess, because of that, they would become a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So that's to some degree because Thor saw the same thing where he was like, something huge is coming to destroy the world, and then went away for a while, and we don't know where, then came back and was like, then he's like, oh, I had this epiphany that inside Loki's scepter
he went into the weird water, right? Yeah. Isn't that what happened? Called on the lightning.
Oh, right, that's what it was. Yeah. And they gave him the knowledge of like,
this is what's dad was there.
I don't think it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think that they didn't know. So they thought that was the future, but it wasn't the future. It was just fears.
It was a little bit confusing. The movie, to me, first of all, again, I really enjoyed it. I think it's obviously going to be a fun spectacle movie. You go get some popcorn, you get a giant thing of Junior Mints, maybe some Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, maybe some Kit Kats.
There we go, just lost
the
train of thought, just off
gigantic
on the side
Diet Coke.
Right now.
But it did feel like we were speeding through this, and that's my only criticism with these movies now, is it feels like when you sit down, it's like a visit for my parents where they're like, it's fun for 5 minutes, but then we got to get home. Let's go. Let's get through everything we got to do. Let's go. Cool. We're done. See you guys later. Bye. And like, there's the sense of pacing in this was just really weird because they crammed so much into it to the point where you're almost like, oh wait, Ultron. Yeah, I forgot we're kind of fighting him.
I had that moment a couple times.
You're like, Ultron, right? He's the bad guy.
Ultron was cool, but it's like, a lot of the times, like, we know what his plot is. We know all this stuff, but it's like, it felt very weird. It's like, all right, so you're targeting just the Avengers, but you're trying to kill everybody. Why don't you just kill everybody first?
And I think that, obviously this one probably came about a lot faster. They didn't put as much time into the actual development of the script. It's, again, a fantastic movie, but it does not feel as tight. It doesn't have the emotional moments of Avengers. It doesn't have the ups and downs. It doesn't have the extraordinary sense of pacing, of course. How could it? Like you said, Avengers was so powerful because it was about this ragtag group of people that should not be gelling together, finally coming together for the common good, which is very, very powerful. In this, they're all friends. They've all been teammates. And so you don't get that sort of build, boom, or the Avengers.
You didn't have those moments.
With the Avengers.
You didn't have that's my secret. I'm always angry.
I'm always angry.
And then, because that moment was like brought down the house. And then, of course, when Hulk grabs Loki and throws him side to side, like when Hulk was running up against Ultron there at the end and stuff, I was like, here it comes. Yeah. Here comes the moment that I'm going to be like, this is what I'll remember Avengers for.
But that's my thing, though, right? Like, it didn't have that. Like, what's the one standout moment?
Well, so that's my thing. What you just nailed to me, the two of the three Avengers moments. There's the Hulk slamming thing. There's the Hulk punching the giant thing. And then there's the moment where the camera's going through the entire city and you see each of the Avengers doing their thing. Those are the three movies that define the first one to me. Now, this one has each of those moments. Less cool. It has two of the moments of you see the whole team doing stuff.
Yeah, but that's like right at the beginning, and the sound was a little low for that.
Something about the beginning was off. I don't know.
It's something. It was. I think I saw it with Sean Finnegan. He was like, "Did it seem like the sound mix was like exceptionally off for this? Well, like the moments where it was supposed to be super impactful and powerful, it was just kind of like Avengers. Like that whole first scene was dope.
It was really cool.
But I was like, I'm kind of lost, and maybe it might be just at this point I am suffering from superhero fatigue, where I'm like, holy crap, there's so much happening on screen, and all of it looks good, and I should love all of it, but I'm literally having problems figuring out where I'm supposed to, like, what I'm supposed to be feeling at this moment or what's supposed to be happening on screen because there's so much shit.
But yeah, so to me the Avengers team moments, there was 2 of them in this movie. Neither of them were as good as the one in the first one. Yeah. And then the Hulk moment of the Loki moment, that was just Iron Man punching Hulk.
That was
go to sleep,
which was funny, but like it was like similar joke and not the same impact. And then the badass moment of the Hulk punching the Leviathan thing was Vision picking up the hammer, which was awesome.
Yeah,
but it was kind of
the spoilers on that one, huge spoilers.
We already told you it's gonna be filled with spoilers. We're not gonna fucking one moment with Vision was really cool. You knew there were spoilers coming in.
Yeah, I will say again to sort of turn the conversation back toward more of the positive. The things I did like about it were I loved Paul Bettany as Vision. He's awesome.
It's about time he got to be in the movie.
And Hawkeye,
his Jarvis voice.
Hawkeye was awesome in this movie.
Was he?
Because I thought he was because he was Hawkeye. Character-wise, just talking. What he actually does, whatever.
I was gonna say he's not Matt Fraction's Hawkeye, and that's what I want.
And you're right.
And I don't. For the record, I don't think there's a way to integrate that Hawkeye into this Avengers movie.
Definitely not. But I guess I'm just like blinded by how much I liked that Hawkeye. So to me, I'm like, I see signs of it. I love this.
Okay.
You know
See, that was my thing. Is like being a DC fan, the movies have been my introduction to a lot of characters, right? And so I've just never cared, like probably because of Avengers 1, just never given a shit about the Hawkeye. Like I like Jeremy Renner, don't get me wrong, or whatever, he's fine. But so like when we came in, it's like, all right, and then we're going to this house, we're coming up in the house. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be Samuel L. Jackson. They're gonna, no, he's got a family and all this stuff. I'm like, can we get the fuck out of here? I don't care about any of these people. Yeah. And they do a good job of like they're building it up that he's gonna die or whatever, so it's like, all right, I see where you're going with this. And then he has, like I was telling you before we went live, my favorite, the thing I will take away from this movie is him and Scarlet Witch in the thing where he's like, there's an army of robots outside, we're in a floating city, and I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense. I was like, that was the best line in that movie.
And he's like, if you walk out, he's like, you can stay in here, I'll tell your brother where to find you. If you walk out that door, you are an Avenger.
Which they spoil, of course, in the trailer, so it's just like, well, thanks for ruining that.
I thought that was cool. Well, first of all, Jeremy Renner's an awesome actor.
Yeah.
Olsen's an awesome actor. She did a great job, I thought. I didn't particularly care for either of those characters.
They just didn't need to be in this movie.
They just didn't need to be in the movie at all. I felt like they were forced, and to add insult to injury, we can't call them mutants. Like, they got to be called enhanced, right?
Like that whole thing, that's weird, and just their powers were like lame. Like Quicksilver, whatever.
Quicksilver was like on the scale of Quicksilvers that we've seen so far, of which
so far behind X-Men,
of which there have been 2, far. I mean, and it's not a knock on Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Nope, not at all.
His character just wasn't very integral. B, they came off as these sort of ragtag renegades from this town that I'm not even sure what the town was called, or where it was supposed to be.
Town.
And they sort of had this sort of they start as sort of terrorists or freedom fighters, I should say, and then midway through they have kind of an interesting arc where you're like, okay, well, I guess everything they thought was kind of wrong, or they realize that Tony's redeemed himself. I'm not quite sure, and then you're like, he's running and that's cool, and he's got a little smoke trail. But then you think back to that scene in the Pentagon.
Yep. Put on your
X-Men,
headphones.
Yeah.
Run around, eat some of the food
with time in a bottle, and you're just like, that is what that character could be. That is what that should be.
To be fair, though, that is not
awesome.
Quicksilver's character, though. Like, the X-Men version of it was like, that's not Quicksilver.
No, but that sort of feeling of, like, that's true, because Pietro is supposed to be sort of like, I think
it was funner, it was better, I preferred it, but it's like, that's not true to the character.
That's true.
This character was, I mean, I guess a little more true, but also he was just lame. There was nothing cool about it.
Yeah,
nothing cool.
It felt shooting. A lot of the stuff felt like, how can we, honestly, it's you get halfway through and you're like, okay, how many toys can we sell from this? How many characters can we put in this movie so we can sell more toys? And that it was cool. It just, there was just too much. It's like when you're staring at a table of dessert and you're like, I can have all this, and then someone tells you have to eat all of it, and you're like, well, okay,
challenge accepted.
But you get to the last slice of cheesecake and you're like, I don't want this anymore. Like,
yeah.
I needed just steak and cheesecake.
There's such a chasm between the standard Avengers and then your mutants over here, Falcon, War Machine, even I feel personally, Vision, like you look cool and stuff or whatever, but like, I'm not behind a Avengers movie that's Scarlet Witch, Vision.
Well, that's the other thing too, is it's like, I feel like the movie didn't do
I'd see it
that great of a job of explaining what Scarlet Witch's powers were or Vision's powers.
Sure,
for that matter.
Sure, Vision for sure.
But like Scarlet Witch, it was like, they kind of said a couple things, and to be fair, her powers were really weird and kind of hard to explain anyways.
Yeah.
But like, it was, if you didn't know going into that movie anything about Scarlet Witch, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't. And again, it's one of those things that because they can't say they're mutants, because they can't say they come from a lineage of of mutants, they had to sort of gloss over the fact that Hydra made them enhanced by some way, shape, or form. And they didn't really spend a lot of time. They didn't really spend a lot of time talking about anything. The entire third act, I was like, I'm sorry. I think I went to the bathroom and I came back, and now the city's floating, and I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do with that. Other than I think he was trying to mirror a meteor attack, like a meteor strike.
Yeah, he was bringing the city up to turn it around and smash. That was explained. You were in the bathroom.
Okay. So I missed that part, and I was like, why are they on a floating city? That's just strange. I loved
you can't blame that.
You can't hold that against
No, but I mean, I didn't go to the bathroom. It was literally one of those things. It was explained in one line when he was talking to Scarlett Johansson's character. She's in the cell for some random reason.
That was so weird.
Leaves her in the fucking cell when they leave. Yeah. Why is she in the cell? I thought James Spader did an awesome job.
James Spader was awesome.
I thought he brought it when it came to like Ultron. I was assuming it was going to be this like just that stereotypical villain, and he came off more like a step kid. Or like the adopted son that has a huge chip on his shoulder, which I thought was kind of cool.
I didn't expect him to have personality. Yeah. I thought it was going to be a robot.
I'm a robot.
Yeah,
dude, his line when the guy was like, "Oh, do you expect me to just give my evil thing here?" and just starts fighting. Fuck yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved him. I think the one thing that really kept me glued to the movie was the scenes where they're all together, and that's what I think the Avengers sort of has over X-Men, where. Because you have those moments where you're kind of taken out of the fact that they're superheroes, like when they're all sitting around trying to pick up Thor's hammer.
Yeah, that was awesome.
They have that witty banter back and forth, and it reminds me of it's a cool vibe that they're able to get where they're just people for a second and they're friends. And you're like, oh, that's cool, and then you're reminded, oh my god, no, they're not friends. They're a superhero team that has to go to work. But that whole back and forth from the party scene, all the party scene, I thought was awesome.
Yep,
I love the chemistry between Scarlett Johansson and Mark Ruffalo. Even though I don't necessarily think that those characters
have any chemistry whatsoever.
Should have chemistry. The two actors have chemistry, and Scarlett Johansson's so incredibly hot that you almost forget what you're watching after a second. Like when the camera's on close up, you're just like, oh, Scarlett.
This movie made me cringe a lot, though, and this sucks because I feel like we're coming off negative, but it's like overall, this is
overall
a good movie.
It's definitely worth seeing. It's just we're criticizing something because it is the best and the best.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like there was a lot of lines, like the whole language. That
didn't
went through the whole movie, and I'm just like, oh my god! Even the first time it wasn't good, the last time wasn't good. It's like whatever.
I thought that was funny.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought he's like language. I thought because that's what we would do to each other, and that's what the one thing is like. If you said that randomly, like and you were serious about that, oh my god, Kevin and I would never let that go. We would never let it go.
Yeah,
Greg would never let it go. Greg of all people would drive that joke into the ground and then bring Kirsten Dunst into it for no reason. We don't even know why.
Classic Greg.
But I liked those moments, and I liked the back and forth, and I want to see more of that. And that's the thing. If they don't have that whole cast and crew back for Avengers, and if we're not seeing those again, it'll be a little heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my biggest issue with the movie, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier about I look at these movies as building towards the next one, is the mid credits and post credits scene.
Right.
Or lack thereof of post credit scenes.
Right.
So
there's no post credits. No
shit, really?
Don't bother sticking around. You see the Disney title, it says Avengers will return, and that's it.
Holy fuck! I thought that was just because we went to a screening.
Nope.
Yeah. So the Thanos thing is it?
The Thanos is it, and that's the thing is it's just like, is it a badass scene? Yeah, it is.
Fine.
But it's like also like, all right, we've already seen Thanos in post credit scenes.
Can he do something now? Get off your fucking fat ass, Josh.
It's like
Brolin.
Great, now he's getting off, cool. But like, I don't know. To me, it's like I wanted to see Spider-Man so bad.
Yes.
And it's like, I can't discredit the movie. I can't take away stuff for not having it. But at the same time, it's like I kind of can because they could have done something. They have so much cool coming up. Give us something, even if it was just a stupid joke scene like the shawarma. Like that was funny.
Yeah,
and people will remember that forever.
Yeah,
and not having it is kind of weird.
That is weird. I didn't know that. That's weird.
Yeah,
I don't like that. All right.
Yeah.
Final
thoughts. I liked it. It's definitely worth seeing. It's Avengers, and I think the best you can say for it is it's more Avengers.
Yep.
And that's the thing is, it is Avengers, and like Avengers is now a thing. And I think that when the first movie happened, it was just combination of a bunch of other movies as one movie. But now that there's a second one, it really is a franchise to itself. And like hearing the score and hearing the Avengers theme, I'm now like, oh, that's the Avengers theme.
Right.
Like, I know this music. This means something to me. This means that they're together fighting.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the first movie and being like, oh, this score's forgettable. And it's like, it's cool to me that I know I have that thought in my head, but watching this, I proved myself wrong. Where I'm like, oh no, they did it. They really did it. And like I think that is a testament to the power of these movies and these characters and all this stuff. And It was great. I thought.
Yeah,
it
was great.
It
was a great movie. And the only reason I think we're down on it is because it's not Avengers, but nothing will ever be Avengers again.
Yeah,
not even Avengers.
Dark Knight Return. The Dark Knight again. Nothing will ever be the '89 Batman again. Unfortunately for me, I will say just as a special shout out that they did a phenomenal job with the Hulk in this one. There were moments where the Hulk was like actually having emotions, where normally I wouldn't identify with a CG character, but when he's freaking out, and like doing the crazy, I can't get into this, and then Hulk he has the moment where he comes back into sort of reality and realizes like what he's done. That was actually pretty. Yeah, powerful.
I was expecting at the end when he was in the plane and he shuts off the thing to say something.
Yeah,
to show that he had he had taken control and could talk or whatever, but he didn't.
But I like that. I love that moment though too, where he's like. Because it reminded me of the cartoon for Planet Hulk that came out with. Where it's like he's just kind of stuck alone in a little thing and like sailing off into like the distance and never to be seen again. Spoilers. We'll see him again because he's a fucking Hulk. So Greg, final thoughts. What? That's it.
I liked it. It was great.
I liked it.
Yeah,
worth seeing.
Oh yeah,
worth going to the movies.
Yes.
Tim, worth going to the movies.
Definitely, 100%. You have to see this movie.
You're going to go see this movie. If you're watching this at some point, you've hopefully already seen it. Otherwise, we've spoiled it for you. If you haven't, it's still worth seeing. Let us know in the comments below what you thought. Let us know if you like the Hulk. Let us know if you like the Hulk. Scarlett Johansson Connect, as I'm calling it now.
Okay.
What do you think? No?
No.
Yeah. Like, share, subscribe, do all that jam, and have a wonderful Avengers day.
Tim, show the Mizzou out so people see that it's got Mizzou on it. Can you act like you care about the school for a change?
Tiger.
Yeah, but see, this way they think it's just a Batman.
No one thinks that. No, everyone's seen that cup. No.
I thought it was a Batman cup.
You guys are fucking stupid.